Pain is fuel, use it to rise. The truth about pain. Pain is not your enemy. It never was. You were taught to fear pain, to avoid it, to numb it, to escape it. You were told that pain means something went wrong, that pain is weakness, failure, or punishment. That lie has ruined more lives than failure ever could. Because pain is not destruction. Pain is information. Pain is energy. Pain is fuel. And the people who rise in this world are not the ones who suffer less. They are the ones who learn how to use pain instead of running from it. Right now, somewhere in your life, pain exists. Disappointment, rejection, loneliness, regret, loss, failure, betrayal, self-doubt. And maybe you're tired. Maybe you're exhausted from carrying it. Maybe you're asking, why me? But here is the truth no one told you. Every powerful version of you was born in pain. Pain is the beginning of every transformation. Nothing grows without resistance. Muscles grow by tearing. Diamonds form under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. Yet when pain enters your life, you panic. You shut down. You escape into distractions. You numb yourself with entertainment, comfort, or excuses. Pain knocks on your door, and instead of listening, you run. But pain came for a reason. Pain arrived because your old self is no longer enough. It came to wake you up, to break patterns, to force evolution. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they waste their pain. They suffer but learn nothing. They hurt but change nothing. They struggle but grow nowhere. Pain without direction becomes trauma. Pain with purpose becomes power. The world divides people into two groups. Every human being who experiences pain falls into one of two categories. Group 1, the broken. Pain makes them bitter, small, angry, fearful. They blame the world. They blame people. They blame luck. They blame God. They say, life is unfair. I wasn't born lucky. Others had it easier. What's the point? Pain becomes an excuse to stay small. Group 2, the forged. Pain makes them dangerous, focused, relentless. They don't complain. They don't beg. They don't collapse. They ask, what is this teaching me? How do I become stronger? How do I rise? Pain becomes their training ground. The difference between these two groups is not pain itself. The difference is what they do with it. Pain reveals who you really are. Comfort hides weakness. Pain exposes it. When everything is easy, anyone can smile. Anyone can dream. Anyone can talk about greatness. But when pressure hits, when doors close, when people leave, when plans collapse, that's when truth appears. Pain strips away illusions. It shows you your habits, your discipline, your mindset, your excuses. And that's why most people avoid it. Because pain forces honesty. And honesty is uncomfortable. Your darkest moments are not random. Look back at your life. Think about the moment you were rejected, the failure that crushed you, the loss that changed you, the night you felt completely alone. At the time, it felt pointless, cruel, unfair. But now ask yourself, did it break you or did it shape you? Most people only recognize growth after the pain has passed. But the strongest people learn to recognize it while they're in it. They say, this hurts, but this is shaping me. Pain is not chaos. Pain is a message. And the message is always the same. Become more. Why pain creates the strongest people? Because pain forces you to do what comfort never will. Pain forces discipline. Pain forces focus. Pain forces clarity. Pain forces action. Comfort makes you delay. Pain makes you decide. Comfort makes you lazy. Pain makes you move. Comfort whispers tomorrow. Pain screams now. Every great transformation begins the same way, not with motivation, but with pain that can no longer be ignored. Pain is the fire that burns weak identities, the version of you that procrastinates, the version that doubts, the version that quits easily. That version cannot survive pain. Pain burns identities. And that's terrifying because it feels like you're losing yourself. But you're not losing yourself. You're losing what no longer serves you. Stop asking, why is this happening? That question leads nowhere. Instead ask, what is this demanding from me? What must I become to overcome this? What strength is being built right now? Pain doesn't respond to complaints. Pain responds to growth. Your pain is personal, and so is your power. No one else can use your pain. Your struggle is custom designed for your evolution. Someone else might break under what you're carrying. Someone else might quit. Someone else might fall apart. But you're still here. Breathing, thinking, listening. That means you're stronger than you think. Pain is fuel, but only if you ignite it. Fuel alone does nothing. It must be lit. Pain becomes fuel when you train instead of complain, build instead of blame, focus instead of flee, rise instead of rot. Every rep you do when you don't feel like it, pain fuels it. Every hour you work while others sleep, pain fuels it. Every discipline you hold under pressure, pain fuels it. This is where the shift begins. Right now, make a decision. Not to escape pain, not to numb pain, not to run, but to use it. Say it clearly. This pain will not destroy me. This pain will sharpen me. Because the fire that threatens to burn you is the same fire that can forge you into something unstoppable. Turning pain into discipline. Pain alone does nothing. Millions of people feel pain every day and never rise. They stay stuck, angry, lost, exhausted, because pain without discipline becomes noise. Pain with discipline becomes direction. This is where most people fail. They think pain should magically turn into motivation. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel strong. They wait to feel confident. But pain doesn't work like that. Pain doesn't arrive to comfort you. Pain arrives to command you. And the command is simple. Act whether you feel ready or not. Discipline is pain given structure. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is not suffering. Discipline is organized pain. It is pain that serves a purpose. When you wake up early even though your body wants rest, that discomfort is discipline. When you train while your mind begs you to stop, that burn is discipline. When you work while others escape, that resistance is discipline. Discipline is choosing long-term respect over short-term comfort. And here's the truth most people avoid. Your pain is useless until it's structured into habits. Why pain creates discipline faster than motivation ever could. Motivation is emotional. Pain is biological. Motivation comes and goes. Pain stays until you respond. Pain forces urgency. You don't change when you want to. You change when staying the same becomes more painful than change. That's why rock bottom transforms people faster than success ever does. Because pain removes excuses. Pain removes the option to stay weak. When pain hits hard enough, something breaks inside you. Not your spirit. Your tolerance for bullshit. Suddenly, You don't tolerate distractions. You don't tolerate laziness. You don't tolerate excuses. You don't tolerate disrespect. Pain sharpens priorities. Things that once felt important fade away. What remains is what truly matters. That's discipline being born. The discipline formula forged by pain. Here is how pain becomes discipline. 1. Pain creates clarity. Pain asks, what am I avoiding? What must change? What is no longer acceptable? Clarity hurts, but it frees you. 2. Clarity demands action. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Staying the same becomes unbearable. 3. Action repeated becomes discipline. You act once, that's courage. You act daily, that's discipline. Stop romanticizing comfort. Comfort is addictive. It whispers, you deserve rest. Just today. One more time. You can start tomorrow. Comfort feels kind, but comfort is the most dangerous drug on earth. Because comfort doesn't destroy you immediately. It destroys you slowly. Pain, on the other hand, is honest. Pain says, you are capable of more. The pain-discipline shift. The moment you stop asking, how do I avoid pain? And start asking, how do I use this pain? Everything changes. You stop running, you stop numbing, you stop escaping. You begin training. Pain becomes your coach. Harsh, unforgiving, but fair. Daily discipline is built in the dark. No one sees. The early mornings. The lonely nights. The silent sacrifices. The inner battles. Discipline grows when no one is watching. That's why most people never build it. They want applause before effort. They want results before sacrifice. They want validation before work. Pain doesn't negotiate. Pain says, show up anyway. Pain turns weak routines into strong rituals. A routine is something you try to follow. A ritual is something you don't question. Pain turns maybe into must. You don't ask, should I train today? Should I work on my craft? Should I improve myself? Pain answers for you. Discipline is choosing pain on your terms. There are 2 kinds of pain. The pain of discipline. The pain of regret. One strengthens you. The other eats you alive. Discipline hurts now. Regret hurts forever. Strong people don't avoid pain. They choose the pain that builds them. Your future is watching what you do with this pain. Right now, your future self is observing you. Watching how you respond. Watching whether you quit. Watching whether you rise. And one day, your future self will either say, thank you for not giving up. Or, why didn't you fight harder? That judgment will be final. Pain builds the ability to keep going when motivation dies. Motivation dies quickly. Discipline survives everything. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks whether the task is done. That's why discipline is power. Pain trains you to be uncomfortable on purpose. Growth never happens in comfort. If you're comfortable, you're stagnant. If you're uncomfortable, you're expanding. Pain trains you to stay in discomfort without breaking. That skill alone separates the average from the elite. The silent promise you must make. Right now, make this promise to yourself. I will not waste this pain. Not by talking about it, not by posting about it, but by building something with it. Discipline, strength, skill, character. Pain is teaching you how to lead yourself. Leadership starts internally. If you can't control your impulses, your habits, your reactions, you can't control outcomes. Pain teaches self-leadership. It forces you to become the authority in your own life. When pain meets consistency, identity changes. Do something hard once, that's effort. Do something hard daily, That's identity. You stop saying, "I'm trying," and start saying, "This is who I am." Pain shapes identity faster than success ever will. This is the cost of rising. There is a price for greatness. That price is paid in early mornings, late nights, missed comfort, silent suffering. Pain is the currency. Pay it willingly.